welcome back to Destination Playdate. I am your host, Attack Slug, and this is Spilled Mushrooms, out now on catalog for a price of $6. As always, full disclosure, they sent me a copy. This is a card-based puzzle game. Let us make a new delivery and collect these spilled mushrooms. These puzzles are procedurally made, but there is always a solution in this main game mode. And I just unlocked a new area. Let's see if it shows up here or not. Yes, the desert is my new area, and it's playing the desert music. Wonderful. So here is how this works. We have a number of cards to play of these animals. And there are a number of mushrooms that are in these three environments. You want these numbers, 14, 10, and 12, to be 0 in the 6 days you have left. You will always get the cards in the same order, and you can see what cards are coming up in day 2, day 3, and day 4. You choose one card per turn. The card you don't choose goes back into the deck and comes back later, and there are certain cards that will have modifiers if you choose them or don't choose them. And so the name of the game here is Synergy. And knowing what each card does when you choose it and how it interacts with other cards that you're using already on the playing field. For example, the weasel. If you say, nah, I don't want the weasel, then he gets more baskets to get more mushrooms when he comes back later in a turn. And the boar is the opposite. He gets less baskets in a later turn. So let's begin here and see what we have to work with. And so the crank will tell you, what does this card do? So the platypus is confused. It will invert any effects that changes his stats. And so he has one basket and he has 4 turns to collect that one basket for one mushroom. But the frog is just a frog. 1 basket, 5 turns. And in a similar fashion, you look at these 3 environments. The desert, when a critter enters, give it -1 on the basket. Now keep in mind, the platypus is confused, and that -1 will be a +1. The jungle, you must have 2 or more baskets to gather in that jungle. If you don't, the card won't work, so don't even bother. And the forest gives you +1 additionally when you enter, because there are so many in the forest. So, that being said, I think the best first turn here is to indeed play this 4-turn platypus in that desert. And so give him 2 baskets, because he is indeed confused. Now, next turn we have either the sheep, which gives you a +1 on time, or the raccoon, which ignores any effects that lower his baskets. And again, the desert gives you a -1 basket, so why not ignore that -1 with that raccoon? So, easy peasy on that desert. And so we come to the weasel. And when I don't want the weasel, he gets more in his baskets. And the crow, being a flying type, if any of these environments were windy, he will only last 1 turn in those. Thankfully, we don't have the wind. I'll play him where it is thick with his 2, and we now gain 2 on the weasel. And we continue to get those mushrooms in that desert. And thankfully, look at that. The platypus gets 2 more, and there's 2 more. That works out great. But you also have to be aware of how many turns are left. If we go back to view, you see from day 4, from day 5, and 6 is where those cards come back to you that you've not used. If I don't grab the boar, he will lose 1 basket. But we want to increase his baskets, obviously, so send that boar to that forest and increase those baskets. There. Desert is done. Now it's just the jungle, which has 6, and the forest, which has 10. But the days are running out. And again, the frog is just a standard frog. The sheep, though, gives more time. And of course, there's not much time left here in this particular puzzle, so keeping in mind, we can't play the sheep in the jungle because I have to have 2 or more to gather in that jungle. So neither frog nor sheep can gather there. And so the only option for that sheep is indeed the forest. Get +1 on that basket. And then we're now down to 4 in the jungle and 4 in the forest. And so now it comes down to, do I play the weasel here, or do I wait? Well, the frog is the frog, and the frog only does 1. So I feel like with the sheep doing 2 in the forest and gaining 1, then we play the weasel in the jungle. It just goes 4, done, finito, and then 2, and I think it don't matter now. If I play the frog or the moose as the final turn, this should finish the fight here. So I honestly usually do not finish a puzzle first try, but this one seems pretty promising. So let's play. I mean, look, the moose gives +1, which again, fine, but if the sheep does 2 and the frog only has 2 left, then it kind of don't matter here which one you play. So abundance, we get 2, we get 2, we get 3 because of the herd. Yeah, a lot of just synergies are happening, and your puzzle is complete, your delivery is complete. I did that. Now, in the rewards we have here, right, you see the total reward of 400 mushrooms. That's how you unlock new cards for new animals and new environments, even further increasing the amount of synergies and the difficulties and, puzzly stuff in the game. And so back on that main menu, there is a thorough history of your played puzzles from the past. Ones you've done, ones you've gotten the hints and cheated on, ones that you've completed, and how long it may have taken you. This one here, I refuse to quit. It took me almost a half an hour to do one puzzle. I did it 16 times. Woo! Because, man, I just knew I could finish it here and there, and it took a bit. These can be sorted by the week, the day, the puzzle. You've got a lot of options here for your information in that. We have our overall collection to kind of peruse here in terms of the weasel, the raven, the frog, and there are more passes that are still kind of blanked out because you unlock them as you go along. I should certainly hope in a game about collecting mushrooms that somewhere in here, I think this is the most likely to be a badger. I hope. We'll see. And also, once you pass all these animals, there are also new environments to be unlocked. So I just unlocked the desert, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more environments to unlock with varying degrees of difficulty depending on what their variables happen to be. We have an options menu. You can change those animations if they're taking too long. So you say, all right, fast, or just, no animations, just get me the good stuff of these puzzles. The hint system, when you fail a stage and you keep failing that stage, if you just want to say, just tell me the solution, the game will tell you that solution. You can change the rules from the crank to the B button if you don't want to crank it. And then, your date format, your units, audio, music, UI, critters, and all of that. Like any good procedural game, we have a daily challenge, and as well, you can have a custom delivery system. Now, this does not guarantee you there will be a solution for that custom delivery, but you can make one if you would like. Custom puzzles can be made unsolvable, cannot include hints, and do not earn you mushrooms towards unlocking further critters and environments. All in all, a very robust package here in Spilled Mushrooms, out now on catalog for $6. Quite the excellent bit of puzzling business. Link down in that description. I am your host, Attack Slug. More videos right here on this channel. I'll see you next time. Badger, mushroom, and I'm out.